Yeah.
So, pero ano, you mentioned yung kapatiran, ano. I mean, have you fielded any officials for barangay elections?
Not officially.
Not officially.
Ito natin, non-partisan.
Subliminal pala kayo.
Okay, not officially.
I'm sure we encourage people to run. Because, you know, as parents, you ideally ask the younger people or the other members of the community who are either semi-retired or want to change professions to be involved in barangay affairs. There is a barangay, for example, in New Manila. That one is a good example. There, that community is so active, they actually meet among themselves and decide who among them will be the next barangay chairman or members of
Even
the council.
Before that.
Yeah. Because if they don't do that, ang papasok doon will be persons they don't want to run the community for the next 3 years. Because remember, they always want to enforce the zoning laws, they want to enforce the peace and order, health, etc.
Maybe it should be one of the best models na pwedeng gawin ng iba pang communities, ano?
Yes.
Para itong sa sultanato ng Brunei.
Yes.
Makikita natin, di ba? Nagro-rotate yung kanilang yung kanilang sultan, nagro-rotate. And by that, I think my point is may continuous yung projects, yung programs.
That's right.
And they are able to actually create a community na mas tahimik.
Do you mean Brunei or Malaysia? Malaysia is the one that rotates the king. No, every so many years,
Malaysia.
no?
Okay, it's Malaysia.
We have a follow-up text. I think that was from the previous text. It's from the Barangay 452, Zone 45, I think is Ramon Magsaysay.
Ramon Magsaysay, Cubao?
I think Ramon Magsaysay is in Manila.
Ramon Magsaysay School siguro in Manila. That's Espanya.
There's also a Ramon Magsaysay in Quezon City.
There is.
So we don't get
yeah, but the barangays in Quezon City, to my mind, are not numbers. They're names. So most probably it's Manila. Most probably that's Manila. Okay. Thank you for the text. No?
Thank you.
We should pass this on to COMELEC.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's already being passed on.
We should air the hotline numbers of the COMELEC.
But you know, Attorney Season, you also mentioned earlier that there should be a strong community participation, not just the elected officials, but also the civilians should be interested in actually guarding the interests of the community.
I'll give you an example. There was a barangay captain. I will not name the barangay. When somebody complains to him, you know what he has readily in his office? Who voted or who did not vote in that election where he won?
Yeah, imagine.
How would you know who voted when
may listahan siya of who showed up to vote.
No, you
somehow he's able to get hold of it. I did not.
So he voted
Oh, so let's say a couple goes there to complain. Mr. Barangay Chairman, that's how they should be called now, no longer Kapitan.
Right.
Because the word Kapitan daw connotes dictatorial So no, don't call them Kapitan anymore. They call them Barangay Chairman. Okay, Barangay Chairman, ganito, these are complaints. Before he responds, he looks at his master list of who showed up in the election. If this couple or person happened to be absent during election, he will give this person a mouthful first. Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, sir. You were absent during the election. That's why I won. That's why you have to now rely on my policies. We had a meeting. You were also absent during the General Assembly meeting. So unfortunately, this policy was carried out. And now you're asking for a motion for recon.
How about make it a law? How about create that as a law? If wala kang karapatang magreklamo
exactly. That barangay captain used that to his advantage. But at the same time, he was listening. So he was telling the person, so please ma'am, next time, do not be absent on election day. You vote. So if you don't like my policies, vote me out of power.
Right. At gawin natin batas siguro. Di ba?
Meron nang tinutulak na mindset na pag hindi ka nag-tax huwag ka nang bumoto.
Magkakasama na yun. Pwede bang privately initiated yung, pwede bang i-push din gano'ng klase ng bill?
Well, yeah, you can try to have that pass through and then the lawyers will now review whether or not any other provision of the Constitution is violated.
Kasi I think what happens is, meron tayong
Lloyd, joining us on the line is Police Director Benjamin Delarmino, Deputy Chief for Operations, but that will be later.
Okay.
Later we will be joined by Deputy Police Director Benjamin Delarmino. Sorry, I've got this cough nagging all.
You should drink a lot of vitamin C.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, Lloyd, you were talking about the
Yeah,
private initiative.
I was talking about, no, it's no longer a private initiative, but I'm saying is like, okay, meron tayong isa ritong council na niluklok, ano, at hindi ka nag-participate sa election, okay? And then bigla kang papasok and then magrereklamo ka, some sort of like that. So it's like my organization, pumapasok ka na hindi ka naman parte in the first place. Baka hindi ka part kasi you're not taking part of the
You forfeited
election.
your status of stakeholder.
I mean,
So I think
you gave up your right, di ba?
Yeah, you gave up your right by not showing up, by not voting. Ikaw yung number one na nagrereklamo dun sa mga policies. So I think it makes sense when we create a law for that. So that, maging legitimate
you
mga
also have to
concerns.
take into consideration that in development, the dynamics usually is for people who are so tired of the old system and they cannot actually penetrate, and the zone for participation is actually against them.
Right.
It's a form of civil disobedience to just not participate. But hopefully, it is a conscious decision and not just katamaran. diba?
I don't think we don't have any other choice.
Right,
Do you
right.
think we have any other choice
Na.
na hindi sumali dun sa proseso, pero yung proseso is we try to change?
We have to be
kinda tricky
participative.
also.
Yeah.
We have to
Because like in this
participate first, eh.
example,
Right.
that barangay captain sat in for so many terms, no? With or without those popular policies, no? That's why in the following, when he was no longer available to run, people really made sure that he was. Even his members, his kagawad members who were not,
share.
who shared the same ideas were not.
But you're working on the
Elected,
assumption
oh.
that the barangay chairman actually tries to be transparent and accountable. But what if the barangay chairman has a cordon sanitaire that prevents people from
Yeah.
participating?
Okay.
So in that way, you cannot really gauge.
Okay, so joining us on the line is Police Director Benjamin Villarmino, Deputy Chief for Operations of the PNP. Good morning. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon po. Yes?
I'd like to ask, kamusta na po yung peace and order situation natin sa election ngayon?
Masasabi po natin na okay pa naman
Oo.
at ang ating mga kapulisan ay nakakalat na yung buong kapuluan
Aha.
para po bantayan itong nagaganap na eleksyon.
Okay, paano po? Kasi may natanggap kaming balita na may namaril daw dun sa may Antipolo. Mga armed men fired at Barangay San Luis. Anong action po ng ating PNP dito?
Katatanggap lang din po namin yung balita na yan at itutusan na namin yung chief police ng Antipolo at saka yung PNP dyan na nakakasakop sa Antipolo na tingnan kung ano nangyayari dyan sa partikular na barangay dyan.
Okay. Ito naman po dun sa may Mindanao, no? Kamusta na po yung ARMM?
Yung ARMM po ay natuloy naman ang ating election doon dahil yung ating mga kapulisan, yung mga recruits natin ay ginamit na Board of Election Tellers
Opo.
dahil hindi sumipot yung mga iba pong nating mga teachers para maging DEP.
Okay. So, sila po ang ginamit. So,
Opo, at pero itong mga ito ay nag-undergo ng training sa seminar sa Comelec.
okay. Sir, just siguro a few more questions. I hope you don't mind. Kamusta na po yung implementation natin ng gun ban?